Dwayne Stein right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Dwayne Stein, the Gulf South Mortgage Authority. 7+ years of bringing you education and options. If you're new, hey, welcome to the Gumbo Nation. This is your home show where we'll be providing, again, education and options. We are live for you. If you've got any questions, 504-207-760. I'm sorry, 504-260-0995, or shoot an email to info@mortgagegumbo.com. Joining me again this week, guest host James Parker, James Tex Parker, maybe we'll call him that, is going to be joining us. And on the show today, listen, we're going to be talking about, I've got a guarantee that you want to hear about. So realtors, people thinking about selling their home, people selling their home, and people buying a home. You don't want to miss what we're going to talk about in the second segment. And we mentioned last week, we're at the halfway point of 2022. How are you doing on those New Year's resolutions? We're going to visit that. But then I'm going to give you a couple things that you need to start working on now. Now's the time to be doing those things. So really, really super excited about that. Parker, how was your week, man? How's everything going for you, buddy?
My week's pretty good. This is kind of a very busy part for the kids, which means I really don't have to deal with all four of the kiddos at the same time nearly as much as I do during other times of the year.
Yeah.
Camps and visiting friends, and there's all kinds of fun stuff going on. So I like the summer. I like being all busy like this.
But can you complain about having all these things to do with the kids when you, in fact, were the creator of these kids?
Oh, no, it's not a complaint. I was saying the opposite. I love having all this stuff to do with the kids.
Oh, I got you. So you've got a lot going on. So, we're here this week and coming to you remotely from the ATL. And let me tell you, the hate is real. Had a NOLA shirt on yesterday running into a big box sports store over here to pick up some stuff. Gavin's in Atlanta right now, playing in one of these showcase tournaments.
Gavin,
James, you'll see.
Don't assume everyone knows your son's name.
Well, Gavin, sorry. As who's going to be a junior going into high school. So, there's these tournaments, Parker, and and many people may not know this, but you yourself were a college athlete, right? I mean, to brag on you a little bit. I mean, nobody brags. You're pretty humble about your athletic prowess that you had.
That's because I played soccer at ETBU. There's not a whole lot of glory that comes with that. There wasn't like big crowds. We weren't on TV. There weren't just throngs of female fans waiting for us to get, out of the locker room when we were done.
Wait, the school bus that you rode, the county bus?
But we weren't even like that popular among current students at ETBU when we played.
Anyway, so we're here in Atlanta and there's these showcase tournaments, right? And basically what it is it's a big tournament. There's a bunch of college scouts there. So everybody here, all the Karens and these everybody that thinks their kid is just destined to go to the major league level, they're here, and it's for a tournament this week. There's 460 teams that are going to play over a 7-day period. I've got to get back to work, so we're only staying through Sunday because we got to get back.
How many teams did you say? 470?
460 teams, James.
Oh, God.
It's crazy. And look, these teams are ranked, and all over. Like yesterday, we played the number 6 ranked team in the country, and humbly, my little boy, my little pride and joy came in and shoved it up the number 6 teams. We could say rear end up there, up there rear, because for 4 innings, gave up 4 hits. All these kids that are going to all these schools, allegedly, right? You talk to all the parents, all my kids getting an offer. I'm just amazed at how we forget the whole high school experience. But that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. But the hate I'm talking about, to get back to that, is real. in a sports store, one of these box stores, had a NOLA shirt on. Man, that, what are you doing here? This and that. I'm like, I know we usually kick y'all rear end in the fall. We're just doing it a little bit earlier. Yeah, we're Saints fans, so there's a true hatred there. But so we're doing this tournament, and I'm just wondering at what point, how much longer, and if you've got it written on your calendar, James, I would appreciate you sharing it, or maybe your wife, or for the ladies out there, because I know y'all know pretty much everything. Maybe y'all will be able to let us know at what point are we going to start holding human beings responsible for doing their job. And my frustration is, and what brings me to bring this up, and I'm usually Johnny positive, right? I mean, I get up on my soapbox, but I keep the facts here. Trying to take my son last night we didn't know the schedule. So some people would go, well, why didn't you book your tickets earlier? We didn't know the schedule till you get it that day, right? The day before. So I'm trying to take my son. The Atlanta Braves are playing, world champion Atlanta Braves, or playing the Washington Nationals. Who cares, right? Fireworks, all this stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to take my son while I'm in Atlanta to his first Major League Baseball game. So I'm booking online, your SeatGeek. Hey, look, I'm calling them all out. Vivid, SeatGeek, StubHub, all of them. Went to 3 different sites, bought tickets, Parker. Not one of them delivered. Not one of them. One told me, hey, your tickets will be there in 30 minutes. Well, 2 hours before, we're heading to the stadium. I didn't get in. I missed the first 2.5 innings of the baseball game because I couldn't get tickets. I just need people at some point. This technology thing is just getting out of control because you buy tickets, they take your money out. That they've got down to a science. But then the tickets don't get delivered, James. So I'm sitting outside of the stadium waiting, which, by the way, it's 942 degrees. So then your stress levels up a little bit because now you're like, am I going to get into the game? Am I not? I'm in so we finally get in. But the whole time I'm just frustrated on thinking if I did my job like this, we wouldn't have record amount of listeners, James. I wouldn't be doing record amount of loans if I just poo-pooed the bed every single day. And I'm so tired of everybody making excuses on why things aren't getting done and can't get done. And I'm just, at some point, like I'm saying, if there's a calendar and if somebody knows that the date's, hey, next August 4th at 6 a.m., then I just need to start prepping myself for that day because it's got to be coming soon where we get back to just saying, do your job. Do what you say you're going to do. Is that too much of a rant, Parker? I mean, I know this is a
mortgage
show and people tune in for education and options, which we're going to give them tons of it. But my gosh, that's just real life, man, huh?
Well, at some point, I think I'm just going to give up and get the chip. You know how they chip all our animals, and they're talking about chipping human beings. And I know, one world government and Big Brother, and all kinds of dystopian control. But I think it would be nice if I could just buy the ticket, and whenever I walk through what looks like a metal detector, they'll detect my chip. They'll be like, he has a ticket. We're all good to go. You don't even have to keep up with this stuff. And when you go through like a drive-through, it'll scan your chip. Let me see your chip, or are you scannable or whatever. So you'll just have it. You'll just have it in you, and they'll be able to tell that you have purchased through your phone this guy, because your chip is going to be sending out a little FM, a little radio wave that they'll be able to pick up. Give me my chip. Just plug me into the Borg. Whatever. I give up.
Yeah, like you go to LASIK and when they flap the eye back, they throw the chip under there, right? And in a little spot. And then it's just everybody's got eye scanners.
All right, couple comments already here. An anonymous Facebook user says Atlanta hates New Orleans. Went there for a tournament and was treated like crap.
Yeah, it's a little unique. I mean, look, it was weird. I mean, look, I went into one of these sports stores, like I said, and it has a name that's sort of let's keep it on the good side. People named Richard also get called this, right?
You
So
can say Dick's Sporting Goods. That's well within FCC bounds. It's the
that's
name.
so. And hey, look, if they're interested in sponsoring, that's fine too. Reach out to become a Total Home Authority member. We'll accept Dick's. Great stuff in there. But yeah, so it was a little tough, man. But it is what it is, and just smiled and said, "Hey, 28-3. That was my battle cry." And they're like, "Oh, that's all you got to say." I'm like, "At least we got one championship, with Drew. Good luck." So
Well, and 28-3 is not some little thing. That's a big one, bud. Well, that's all you got. Yeah, that's kind of a big one. That's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that's sort of my soapbox, and it just comes down to even how were just the dislike is the is we were putting on the green, right? I got 3 kids with me, and they're putting on the green in Dick's, and the same guys like they're not professional putters, so the ball went off of the green like into the little where the $200 shorts are, and the guy's like, "Can you keep the ball on the green?" I'm like, "Sir, they're not professionals. Like they're just kind of putting here. Would you rather them running around causing disarray in your store like they easily could do if I sicked them and let them loose?" So
That would be my comeback for everything, though. Hey, can you keep your balls on the putting green, please? I'll be like 28-3.
right, exactly. So, but with that being said, it's funny getting back to the tournament. Look, it's fun. I'm whatever. Maybe I'm not at that level yet, and I believe in enjoying the high school part, but all these parents are running around doing this and that, and it's
Are you
just
still making calls? Because when I bought my house through you, we were going through this process in December. So the most busy of everyone's schedule. And I remember you picking up the phone when you're driving down the road. You were picking up the phone when you're at a Christmas party. You were picking your phone on the way up from going to Christmas and things like that. Are you still picking up your phone here in Atlanta?
yeah, oh, absolutely, yes, have to, man. I mean, look, when business calls, you got to do it right, and probably I'd say this, James. Uh, More so now than ever because the buyer that's coming in now, James, they're serious. They're beyond the did I miss the boat. They don't care about that. They want to be homeowners. They maybe have worked their tails off on their credit to get the opportunity, right? Maybe they finally have the 2 years on that job where they qualify. They not worried about all these naysayers, all this negativity that the media puts out on, all this stuff. So they're like, hey, whatever the rate is, it is. Here's what I can afford, and going from there. So yeah, no, the phone calls, they don't stop, and which is a good thing. Keep them rolling, and we've got a team. Look, I've got my weekend warriors. So on the weekends, we're rocking and rolling because most people aren't calling to just see how we're doing, right? So when they're calling on a weekend, they want to know what's up. And again, that's why we've created Snap, Send, and Save DatCam for people to be able to just get on, jump on, and then for no cost. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. There's never, anytime you go to anything with Snap, Send, and Save DatCam, there's no cost or obligation. So whether you want to find out your buying power, you want to find out should I, could I, how can I refinance? You want to know what is my home value just to get an idea to start considering possibly selling your home. We have a tool for that. I'm not sure what my credit is. We have a tool for that. So we remove all obstacles, all excuses, right? There's no excuses. We just make loans, right? And I had a meeting with my team this week, and I said, what makes everything better? Making loans, right? So challenges, different things like that, just make more loans. No excuses. Remove obstacles. So over at Mortgage Gumbo, we make loans, not excuses, and I'll never ever apologize for that. That's why I put this gigantic guarantee that we're going to talk about in the next break.
Do we have a couple minutes here to do a rate watch, or should we go ahead and take that break?
Let's take that break now. Let's take that break.
All right, so coming up, you're going to explain the $5,000 guarantee. We're going to do rate watch because we got to tell you where the mortgage rates are standing. We're also going to talk about where are you getting your advice from when it comes to mortgages, but really anything. It could be something financial. It could be about where you're getting dinner. And then we're going to do another little halftime check since we're halfway through the year. Let's check on how you're doing so far in 2022 and how you doing with those New Year's resolutions. So we got a lot going on, but if you want to call the show, you got a question for Dwayne, 504-260-0995. You can go to mortgagegumbo.com or ask your question on any of the social media feeds we're on right now. Hi, Facebook people. I'm James Parker with Dwayne Stein. This is Mortgage Gumbo. Well, I spent some time in the mudfield.
Yeah, buddy.
Mason wants a shout out. He said he's watching you live on Facebook.
All right. People want shout outs. I got kids calling for shout outs, Parker.
We don't do shout outs, but we will say your name and say hello.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to do shout outs, so we'll just say your name.
Say my name. Say my name. Yeah, Parker, it was crazy, dude. So, what's up, social media? How y'all doing today over in the ATL? It's absolutely gorgeous right now. Yet we just got something saying that game's canceled. So I love that. I love paying a couple $100 for a room, being all the way in Atlanta, and having a Saturday that I'm in a hotel room and
just getting burnt.
What is it going to cost me now, right?
I'm going to grab a coffee. I'll be right back.
You got it, buddy. What up, Rip? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. I saw your little ones over with the White Sox. Check it out, Chi-Town. Yo, what up, Mason G? Checking in. Supposed to be on a bump today. They scared. That perfect game is scared. They don't want to see you. Hey, highlight my boy. Go over there today. Dave McGuire. My boy Jerry. Dave and Jerry Sandwich Shop. Repping it in the ATL. I was thinking about it, Dave. You so popular. You're so amazing. You're so great on all the food you prepare, your sandwiches, just the business in general. And I'm going to give you this idea. But you need to create where in the world is Dave and Jerry Sandwich Shop shirt. And people check in. Because I see people posting things. I saw somebody the other day in California that had a Dave and Jerry shirt on. Don't discount your greatness. Don't discount your greatness, sir. Go by Dave and Jerry Sandwich Shop today. The bus stop is a must. The bus stop is a must. Yeah, our team's the North Shore Gladiators. You can check us out. The tournament's a perfect game. Well, perfect games. I guess I got to get into all this. I got to start playing the game, people. I got to play the game. Just kind of crazy watching all the Karens when they find out who a scout is. I mean, they don't realize they're doing more harm than good. They circling like vultures. All of a sudden, their top button comes undone.
Take over, James.
Hey there, this is Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. I'm your co-host, James Parker. Dwayne is live from Atlanta, holding it down in Falcons country. As disgusting as that may be, he is still able to step aside from the activities of the weekend, talk about mortgages with you. And Dwayne, do we just roll right into Rate Watch here? Do you have anything else you want to throw in before we do that?
No, man. Let's get into our weekly segment we like to call Rate Watch. Lawrence, a little bit of pain this week. Bounce back, and again, what are we telling? We've been talking about this. You're going to have some ups and downs. So are you ready? That's what we're going to talk about when we get into the second half and how you can be prepping yourself. Hey, 30-year fixed, 5.84. So we're up there. 15-year, 5.04. FHA is at 5.35. 30-year jumbo, 4 point. What's that number, Parker? I can't read that far, dude.
4.85. Look, I thought jumbos were supposed to be a higher percentage rate than your regular old 30-year fixed.
Well, here's the deal. Jumbo, everything now, man, because jumbos are not as exclusive as they used to be, James, for the simple fact of what home values are doing. So pretty much most markets now, it used to just be your Californias, kind of your four corners of the world, had the jumbo loans. Now everybody does. So they're getting a lot more competitive because it's a whole different, like it's like a VA loans, FHA loans, conventional loans, and then look, it's even got its own rate, right, of jumbo. So that's how you know, even though it's a conventional loan, it's got its own category. And what's that 5-1 arm, James?
5.50.
5.50. What's the 30-year?
The 30-year fixed is 5.84.
Right. So just want to kind of get back. Listen, if an adjustable rate mortgage is an option or becomes an option, we're going to let you know. Look, I looked at one this week with a gentleman, right? And then, but at the same time, here's what it boiled down to. It boils down to 99.9% of you right now or not going to be, when you're buying your house right now as a first-time home buyer, a repeat, chances are 99.9% this is not going to be your forever loan. So all I am focused on for you right now, when you work with Mortgage Gumbo, my team, my salespeople, all we are working with is to advise you on how do we get into this loan as cheap as possible, right? So that's why, James, you know this, you took advantage of it. You bought a point, right, when we did your loan because it got your rate even lower, right? So, but now we're not necessarily looking at a point. Number one, listeners, when you go, I can't afford that, or oh, that rate's too high. That's what SnapSendAndSave.com is for, number one. We can't give you a loan that you cannot afford. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Okay, so yes, is a rate higher is your payment higher at a 5.84 than it is at a 5.50? Sure it is. So that's where we're going to look at what some of these other options are for you, because we're not going to buy a point right now when the investors aren't giving it. Hey, let's buy a point and go from 5.84 down to, 5.75 or 5.70. It's not going to make sense. So that's what we're looking at. We're also doing, and we had a client take advantage of this week, okay? We're looking at what's called a buy down. See, all these things that I worked with 20 years ago when rates were higher are coming back into fruition. But most of your lenders who got into this industry a year ago, who don't know their butt from a hole in the ground, okay, they're not knowing what's going on here. So there's a buy down. So imagine that 30-year fixed rates at 5.84 today.
Right.
Yet I can give you, James, a payment at 3.84 for a year. It's a 2-1 buy down. So you take 2% off of the first year, and that's your payment. And then the following year, the second year, it goes to the 1%. So that 5.84 in year one, you're paying a payment of 3.84%. And then in your second year, you're paying a rate of 4.84. So then when you get into your third year, where are your rates, right? We know rates aren't going back to your 3.84. So people are taking advantage of the buy down. Now, why I say you go, well, heck, why isn't everybody doing that? Well, because you have to pay the interest up front on the difference to get that lower payment. That's how the investors kind of take care of themselves. They get the interest up front. So again, somebody this week, it made sense for them to be able to do that because the interest they had to pay wasn't much more than what it would. You couldn't buy down from 5.84 to 3.84 right now, you couldn't buy that rate. It would cost you tens of thousands of dollars right now on a $250,000 loan amount. So there's a buy down option. So we're looking at that, seeing what we are working timelessly to provide you with options. And if you're working with a lender that's not giving you options, you're in the wrong place. If you're working with a realtor who is not letting you knowing what your options are, you know, and I'm coming out with, because it's so bad right now, James, I'm putting together what I call a realtor challenge. And what that's going to be is we're going to tell somebody before a realtor comes and sits in front of them and says, I'm going to sell your house for you. We're going to give questions to that, interview questions, I guess. We'll come up with, it's an interview sheet when you sit down to interview, what questions you need to ask your realtor. And these are basic fundamentals. And if they don't know what these are, you probably want to steer away. Just like we're telling people right now. I've got somebody right now, this realtor has cost this poor person so much money, but it's a friend. It's cousin Joni's sister's nephew, who he's just out of school, and he passed the he's got his real estate license and passed the test. So now he's managing a $300,000 biggest investment of this client's life and following it up all the way through. All the way through, James.
All right, I've got some questions over here on the Rate Watch screen then. So you mean to tell me Mortgage Gumbo has been on for 8 years? Have they not moved up what the level of jumbo, the definition of jumbo is?
Oh, yes. No, absolutely it has. But so they've moved it up, but you got to understand people are making more money. So now they qualify for more. So
it's not keeping up with inflation.
Correct.
Okay. So
correct.
De facto, the definition of a jumbo loan is actually expanding.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's all about value, right? And each county or each parish has it's given a value of what a jumbo loan is. Well, years ago it was 470 something thousand. Now it's over 600. I don't have it in front of me. 630 something thousand, I believe it is. So, you know, outside of, think about the New Orleans metro area for one. I don't know all the subdivisions in every parish I do business, or every state, but let's think about outside of Lakeview, where you go, all right, pretty much every house in this area is a jumbo. You got some stuff sprinkled in Old Metairie, stuff like that. But, you know, so it's just a whole different ball game. And then something you may be buying a house that starts in a jumbo, but maybe I get you a loan that's a little bit less to get you into a conventional loan. Again, James, you bring up a good point. A good loan officer, a good mortgage advisor is going to say, well, look, no, let's only put down X amount because your rate's going to be cheaper to keep you in the jumbo versus getting you into the conventional. But that LO every day who passed their test and just goes, or works at the bank, the Schmuckatelli credit unions, the banks, the brokers, those are the guys who are trying to put you into the product that they benefit most from.
All right, and that the buy down part you talked about, when I went through the process with you and bought down a point, I didn't have to come up with cash out of my checking account to make that happen. It was just tacked on to the end of my loan, is the way you described it. Is that what happens with these buy downs as well?
Yeah. Well, no, this is something where it's part of your closing costs. It's going to be costs. Yeah. Now, again, and you know, it leads back to, does your real estate agent know what the seller paid closing costs are? And this is why I would tell people, and I know this sounds braggadocious, but if you're not following me on my Gumbo Nation group page, or you're not subscribed to Mortgage Gumbo on YouTube, you're missing every day. We're advising things. We're doing morning quickies. It's a little play on, you know, bow chicka bow wow, but it is what it is, right? It's got people listening. And that's what I'm trying to help people understand. You have to know what those options are. If your realtor doesn't know what seller paid closing costs are, maybe we use, and that's what we did, James, for this person that we saved all this money on. We used their seller paid closing costs instead of the realtor going in and going, hey, James Parker's asking $250,000 for his house. We're going to get it for $240,000. Great. Your payment went down a couple bucks. How about they get the same number, get them to give you $10,000, You still qualify for the loan at 250. We know it's a temporary loan. Let's use the seller. So we use that seller paid closing costs. And I know I'm throwing things all over because I get excited about this, but it would have taken them 19 years, James. The amount of seller paid closing costs, the difference in the payment, it would have taken this client 19 years. They might be 3 houses from now and still not have recouped their money. Right now, folks, more than ever, cash is king. I know, boom, I'm done. I'm out. I know that was one heck of a rate watch. And I know we got more. Let's do it on the other side, bro.
All right. If you have a question for Dwayne, 504-260-0995. We're going to review the halftime stats of what's going on in 2022, see where you're at. We're also going to talk about where are you getting your advice from. I'm James Parker with Dwayne Stein. This is Mortgage Gumbo.
Big David and Jerry. All right, good stuff, Parker. Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, Stein.
All right. Hit me with a text when you're in there. Tough life, dude. 16. It's 10:35 here. Heaven forbid Dad's doing a radio show at, he's going to go into one of the other teammates' rooms so he could sleep.
Get even more sleep, right?
Yeah.
I think all my kids are in bed right now.
Well, I mean, that's justified. It's only 9:30 there.
Get up, you bums. Get a job.
He's like, why are you turning the light on? I'm like, the same reason why you were TikTok until 2 in the morning and I couldn't sleep. That's why.
You don't feel bad about that at all.
No. Somebody's got to make the donut. Yep. Yeah, we're in Roswell, Georgia. So hey, anybody watching, if you know of any restaurants near or close to here or anything like that, let me know. Because now it looks like we may not play today. We're supposed to play for 3 this afternoon. So things kind of get jacked up now. So hey, if you got any good restaurants out here in Roswell, Georgia, let us know, or nearby here.
Roswell, Georgia.
I tell you what, though, it's nice, man. Look, everything's manicured. I mean, all the entries to all the neighborhoods, very nice.
From what little time I spent in Atlanta, it looks kind of like a pretty nice city.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they could ever figure out how to those Falcons,
losers. Oh, so you're up in Gwinnett County?
Yeah.
That's where my old roommate lives there now, and or now he lives in India, but he lived there for like 15 years.
Yeah, very nice. I can tell you that. Very, very nice up here.
It's like Plano in Dallas.
Yes. Like the field we played on yesterday was called Legion Field. Which was amazing. And they had a tank out there, old World War II tank at the Post 201. Shout out to them. Super nice folks. I mean, it was just beautiful. They had an old airplane, helicopter. Very nice. Is that better for me?
1 minute.
Yeah. Turning it sideways.
Yeah.
But then I lose you.
No, we're fine. Look at your previews.
I guess my view over here. In other words, it jacks up the screen where I can't see me. Yeah. Is there a way on this phone to do a full page? I don't want to hit this word leave here. Let's stick with it. Like you said, audio is what's important.
I don't know what Dwayne's doing.
Welcome. It's Mortgage Gumbo with Dwayne Stein. I'm James Parker, sitting along with my buddy Dwayne, who is the mortgage guru that's been doing this show. We are, 2 months away from your 9-year anniversary?
8 years.
8 years.
Yep.
Congratulations. A lot has changed in the mortgage world since you started 8 years ago. How much taller has that stack of paperwork gotten? Because I bought a house in 2012. Right before your show started. And then I just bought a house through you at the beginning of the year. And I noticed that it was sort of like a Metairie phone book when I got it 10 years ago. And now it's like a New Orleans phone book when I got it this year. So they've added a couple sheets of paper to that. What the heck's going on?
Look, they've added a couple sheets of paper. Now, look, some of the stuff is probably good. When I first started doing mortgages, Parker, now, keep in mind, they were at 8%. I was doing some subprime stuff. I closed my own loans. You didn't have to be a notary. You didn't have to. So I closed my own loans. So I always do things the right way. And it was crazy to watch some of these folks who just very illegal. So things have changed. I think a lot of it is overkill. It's built-in stuff for the attorneys. My gosh, you ought to see a reverse mortgage what's required. I mean, it's absurd. You know what I mean? So that we just take out. I got to believe the paperwork on that. We just one full tree, on a reverse mortgage. But paperwork is going up, some of it for the good. But whenever you've got the government involved, it's overkill, right? We used to have a good faith estimate that was 1 page that showed you all your documents. Now it's called a loan estimate, and it's 3 pages long. So it makes no sense on a document that's not even signed. They don't even require you to sign that document. They require you to sign another document that says that we provided the document that you didn't have to sign. That's what you have to sign.
Yeah, so it used to take like a whole tree to get through it. Now it's about an acre of rainforest to close it.
Yeah. I mean, that's where your global warming, they need to focus on the mortgage industry. And that's where we could immediately get some stuff back, no doubt.
Well, it's also, I'm thinking, look, it's 2022. Can I like e-sign some of this stuff, or can you just can I tap my card on it like this and it'll just take it?
And yours was a little different because you were selling one and doing other, but we do proudly to say now, we do e-sign. So it's about half of what yours is, but in my mind, it's still too much. Like they still require wet signatures on the mortgage on certain things. And to me, I go, I mean, why? Right? Like basically, here's how the loan closings used to go. James, congratulations on purchasing your new home. You go, oh, thank you. If you don't pay us, we take the house back. Are we understanding? Your payment is this. You know what I'm saying? For 30 years, it's going to be this. If you have issues making a payment, call us. Don't go incognito, because at the end of the day, we shake a bigger stick than you, and we'll get the keys to your house. And, it's not like that anymore, thank goodness. But that's what it used to be. You're buying a house, you got to pay it back. And
it's like 5 pages.
Yeah.
In your career, By the time you got in, had it already been just blown up to something huge, or do you remember something small like that?
No, it was like 18 pages, man. It was so and you know one of the pages was James Parker, also known as, because it wasn't so intricate with the internet, right? So we had to trust your AKAs. So when we went and filed, if we had to come after you and get something, we had to make sure that you were doing it the right way.
There's more than one James Parker.
Geckenheimer and Gavin tuning in. I like that. Look, they sitting around, not doing much today, but you know what? They tuning in a little mortgage gumbo.
So what's changed since I bought a house 6 months ago?
Number one, interest rates. And that's probably the most important fact, because unfortunately, the people that have joined the industry, Parker, you know, I'm a 5'10", 5'9 3/4. On a good day, height wise, when I'm at my playing weight, maybe a waistline of 36 to 38. You know, my grandmother used to say that I was big boned. I think she created the word stocky. It sounded better than fat. So the reason I say that is so much has changed, and I could have sat out 5'10" stocky on a street corner without a shirt and put that I had 2.5% interest rates over the last 2 years and been an amazing loan officer. Now, I chose to keep my shirt on, and I was number 59 for my company out of 4,000 plus. You know, in the last 2 years, we've done 275 million in loans, more than 1,500 transactions. But that's what's changed since January. You have pretenders that are in this industry who succeed. Most people, when they get in, they're like, okay, your first year, you're gonna do okay. By year 3, 4, you'll be getting a hang of. You had to pay your dues. Well, now the industry is full of realtors, agents, lenders who didn't pay their dues. Kind of like the world. It was just given to them. Here you go. Here's a bunch of money and success. And they're in there and they're misleading clients left and right. And that's what we deal with right now. A bunch of people we deal with are people that are being misled. So that's my hard part, is going, you've got to show. That's why I tell people, go subscribe, go follow. Even if you don't use me, you go to YouTube and you type in Mortgage Gumbo and you subscribe, you've got over 350 videos. I think they call them podcasts now, right? Where you can go get education. You can go find out what options are. That's what it's all. Nobody walks into a car dealership anymore and goes, hi, I'm here to buy a car. Everybody's done the research ahead of time. That's what Mortgage Gumbo is providing you. That's when I say education and options, and we're coming up on 8 years, all-time highs in listeners, because you're fortunate enough to know, so spread that word. You've got an outlet to find out, what do I do on my largest financial investment that you're going to make?
Well, I see the $5,000 guarantee isn't just so the person that you're working with feels better about, well, I'm pretty sure this is going to close on time. You're doing that to separate yourself out from the other guys who aren't doing a $5,000 guarantee. So if someone's trying to shop around and you're giving them the guarantee and their other mortgage offers are not, you know, that's a show of confidence.
Absolutely, because you want to know what you're. And what gave me this was a seasoned realtor a couple weeks ago went on Facebook talking about lenders. What's the deal? This is the third offer I've gotten, and it fell through 3 days before. Well, what did you do as the realtor to know that the offers you were accepting were right? Right? So I'm putting a guarantee, $5,000 of my money. So if you're thinking about buying a house, if you're a realtor and you got a lender that gives you $100 so y'all can go buy leads, yet the deals never close. I love those lenders. Keep paying your realtors for those deals, because, hey, I'm going to tell you a secret. They're sending to me. They're sending the good stuff to me. Just letting you know that offhand. So now we're putting the $5,000. If you're going to list your house, Parker, and you got somebody that's bringing you an offer of 200 grand and somebody that's bringing you an offer of maybe 198,000, but it's saying we're going to close on time. If not, seller, I'm going to give you $5,000. We're getting rid of people just accepting numbers on a piece of paper that in this day and age mean diddly poop. They don't mean anything. And that's why I want to explain this $5,000 guarantee. Sellers, don't do it. And if you sell your house and you accept one of my buyers, when you go buy that next house, I waive all my lending costs. That's how much I'm backing up what I'm doing. I'm going to help you get into your new house, give you a guarantee. So when you go make that offer, and I'm waiving all my lender fees. So this is where we're at, because James, I do a lot of loans. So I don't have to jam people up like these other loan officers are doing. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to personally squeeze them out by stamping a guarantee on it saying, here's what I'm going to do. So there's never going to be an excuse when an agent calls me and goes, can you help me out? This other lender couldn't get this done. I'm going to be, well, why didn't you send them here? We do a $5,000 guarantee. I'm removing all the guesswork, the obstacles, everything. And it's free. Go to snapsendandsave.com to get started. That's it. No cost, no obligation, no hard credit pull. I can let you know what you qualify for without a hard credit pull. And then if we start working on it, I'm going to give you a $5,000 guarantee.
When I was buying the house at the beginning of the year, I was selling my house in New Orleans and buying my new house at the same time. You were handling one loan. Some other outfit was handling the other loan. You were clear to close in 14 days. They took every second of the 30-day window that they had, and they didn't give me a clear to close until day 29.
Yeah.
What did you do different that was so much faster?
Well, and what you got to understand is it was the stress, right? It was the stress of what you were going through, bro. That's what I want to alleviate. It's that stress that's more than anything.
All right, we're going to step aside, come back, take a look at the halftime. We're going to review your New Year's resolutions and get you pointed in the right direction going forward. If you got a question for the show, 504-260-0995. I'm James Parker with Dwayne Stein. This is Mortgage Gumbo.
I'm looking at rock videos. Not me, bimbo.
Looking at those.
Good segment there, huh? Hey, you should be able to break that one up into some good stuff, huh, Parker?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if I'm going to like breaking this up because you're in a hotel room and your audio's not perfect.
No, but I mean like just some segments. Like I want the 5,000 guarantee, that spot. We'll talk about it off there. What's up, Gumbo Nation? You're hanging out with me and Parker. It doesn't get any better. It's a little bit behind the scenes. Usually you can hear my boy Dave. I don't know if we can hear producer extraordinaire Dave.
No, when he talks down the line, we hear him.
Okay, good. Ask Dave who he interviewed this week, Parker. Dude,
yeah, who's on This Week in Geek?
Oh my gosh, I forgot. Jason Kander. He actually he was a presidential hopeful, but I got a little more serious this week with PTSD. But I also interviewed Dave Coulier from Full House. I got to hold that interview till the 13th. But did you know You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette?
Yeah,
was
that's
written
him.
About him.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's him. Yep.
Yeah, you know what happened to him in the theater too.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, it was a popcorn cup. It was a totally popcorn cup, and he was like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about."
I hear Dave, just so y'all know.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Yeah, all right, just make sure.
30 seconds, and we'll have about 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes.
Yo. Hey, shout out to my boy Dave and Jerry. Where in the world is Dave and Jerry's sandwich shop shirt at? Atlanta, Roswell, Georgia, representing.
Hey, can you turn your camera down just a little bit?
Right there.
Here we go.
Maybe not that much.
Now, look at my chat.
Welcome back to Mortgage Gumbo. Dwayne Stein is your host. I'm your co-host, James Parker. If you got a question for the show, 504-260-0995. Any other questions outside the show, you can go to mortgagegumbo.com. If you want to go ahead and send in some documents, you just take pictures with your phone, put them on Snap, Send, and Save.com. And we are, what is this, our second show in July. So technically, we are now in the second half of 2020. And Dwayne,
2022, Parker.
yeah, I'm sorry, 2022. That's how far behind I am. I'm doing horrible on my New Year's resolutions. I know most people jettison their, well-intentioned resolutions by like January 8th or something. But since I do radio shows, I type these things up, and these things are stuck in show notes, so I can just go search for them and find all the well-intended goals that I had at the beginning of the year. I'm doing terrible. Do you keep track of your resolutions, Dwayne?
No, but I keep them very limited. This year it was to read 12 books. And because I said, you know what? You start seeing what all these millionaires and all these top people do, and these billionaires and their readers. And it was to get up before 5:30 every morning. And I've done fairly well on that. I'd probably say I'm 90%. I want to be clear. It's not because of effort. It's just because I sleep like poop. Because of what's going on in our industry, I'm constantly thinking of, how am I going to help clients? The market is shifting. How do we keep going? And that's where, luckily, I can fall back on my 30 years of experience. But the book thing, when I talked about that, somebody told me about an app, and I'll give them a free plug, Headway. The app Headway. You've heard of Cliff Notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is the Cliff Notes of Cliff Notes. So now I'm up to like 30-something books, because Headway, you can either read it off of there or they narrate it. So I narrate it while I kind of read it, and it is absolutely amazing. I'm reading more books than I would have ever gotten to. I'll sit here and say it. One of the greatest books everybody talks about is The Richest Man in Babylon. Couldn't get through more than 3 chapters. And I know it's good. And this is where I went to Headway, and I was able to let them handle it for me, because when I start reading about thee, thou, and though, back when I met with thee and thou said we shall, I can't stay on target. So,
well, I mean, like, I like the idea of condensing some of these classic works, because I think I'd be really good at it. Like, instead of reading Moby Dick, you can just download an MP3 of me explaining, yeah, some dude runs around chunking spears at whales, ends up floating on his dead friend's coffin at the end. It's pretty cool. Next book.
Have you ever read? Right. Yeah. I'm reading crazy. Yeah, I'm up to 35 books. Feel like, all right. So, what have you done?
Yeah, so I had some fun with my my top 10 New Year's resolutions. I'm just going to run through them. They're not very mortgage related. Yeah. But get a new gun, go to pawn shops more, eat more steak, eat more bacon, lift weights, learn a new video game, don't miss anyone's birthday, do the dishes more, don't be fat, and spend more time in the woods.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on the bacon and steak. I'm failing at the rest of these, I think.
Look, here's what I can tell you about the woods. I watched a lot of these Alaska shows, so I got all caught up in it at the end of last year, man. Went and got the tent. I went like on Amazon Primitive, right? The tents, the gas stove. I went off the grid. Let me tell you something, dude. I came back 3 days or 1 day early. It was supposed to be 4 nights. After 3 nights, I was able to justify in my head why I need to get back home to the comforts of air conditioning. And I went in December. I thought the weather, this will be great. No, it was hot. And it's scary out there at night. It's scary.
All right. So a lot of people are looking around. The economy's crashing. Stocks are down. Inflation's going crazy. How do you get your credit in check at a time like this?
Listen, simple. Go to Snap, Send, and Save.com. Click on Services. Then click on the Credit Evaluator. You go on there. You put your information in. We're going to personally reach out to you. We'll get your information. We're going to do a soft pull. so it doesn't account against your credit. And then we're going to propose and put a proposal together for you and tell you exactly what steps you need to take to get ready. Right now is the perfect time. I'm not ready to buy a house. I want rates to recede. I don't think it's a good time. Great. Do everything you can to get yourself ready. Right now is when you need to be trying on the outfit.
All right. So Dwayne Stein, mortgagegumbo.com is the website. Snapsendandsave.com is the other website. Follow on Facebook, follow on Twitter, follow on everything. YouTube, got all kinds of good stuff.
Listen, and you have your homework. Again, every week. Just go out this week, listeners. One person, introduce them to mortgagegumbo.com and go subscribe to Mortgage Gumbo on YouTube. That's all you got to do, and you will get an A+.
Hey, there's a pot over here. Should I stir it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, folks. Until next week, Gumbo Nation, keep stirring the pot.
All right, so now we're just talking to the streamers. Anything else for the online people who are going to be watching this later?
No, I think, listen, it's not the end of the world, folks. It is not the end of the world. Now is the time you're prepping, right? You know what right now is? We've identified, for my local folks, we've identified that there's a storm in the Gulf, right? And it's coming.
Metaphorically speaking, right? There's not.
Right. There was one, but no. So metaphorically, there's a storm in the Gulf, right? And that's recession. That's inflation. We're prepping for it now. We're prepping now while you got plenty of time. They've identified it, but we don't know where it's going. So let's just stay the course and let's make sure that we are keeping you on the right path. And that's what SnapSendAndSave.com does. It removes all guesswork. You never have to wonder anything anymore when it comes to your largest investment, ever.
All right, I got another question here. This was from Rate Watch. Are these numbers over here, are they going to go down or up for the rest of the year?
You're probably looking at, I think you're going to see a little bit more pain in them. Look, they're just, all they did was get back to where they were 2 weeks ago. And, you know, we didn't even get a chance to talk about today, and we'll make sure we get on it next week. But the Fed's going to speak. The Fed's going to raise the federal funds rate. And even though that doesn't have to do with mortgages, the reason I think these rates are going to go up is everybody's sitting back. They're trying to talk about some of these numbers. Guess what? Unemployment is getting worse. We didn't talk about that, right? Unemployment numbers came out. They're worse. The big companies are laying people off. Inflation always goes up in the summer. People spend more money.
Hang on, I got to disconnect that. Boom. Okay.
All right. So inflation always goes up in the summer. So watch when we may see a little break from May. Watch when June and July's inflation numbers come up. That's when these interest rates are going to go up a little bit more, in my opinion, as well. They're not going to back off. You're starting to see these people. Well, they may back off. No, they're not. They're not. I'm telling you. They can't. They can't. You saw what money giveaways did. You saw what 2.5% interest rates did. So they can't go back to that. They can't.
All right. So what are you doing this week? What are we doing next week? Anything before we take off here?
No, man. Hey, next week, look, get people, go out, subscribe to Mortgage Gumbo on YouTube. Go to the Gumbo Nation Facebook group. It's the one with the New Orleans skyline. There's an imposter out there. It's the one with the New Orleans skyline. Check out my morning quickies. Every day, I'm giving you a little bit of updates on what's going on out there, because there's so much that it deems more attention than 1 hour on a Saturday.
All right. Well, go enjoy Atlanta. I'll see you this week, Dwayne.
Thank you, brother. You the man. Later.
Later, guys.